Dad, I'm bored. Oh, go take a hike. Do you see this trail? It's kind of inviting, isn't it? What's along this trail? What adventure is lurking around every turn? What animals might we find if we followed it? What flowers might there be? Or bugs? Maybe there's a waterfall. If you take in a deep breath, you'll smell the cinnamon. These plants on each side of the trail are called cinnamon ferns. They're called cinnamon ferns for two reasons. First, when you walk by them, they smell like cinnamon. And then in the fall, they turn a nice cinnamon-colored brown. So they're called cinnamon ferns. Isn't it amazing how I just popped in here? My name is Steve, and I have hiked all over Ohio. And I can tell you, there are a lot of wonderful adventures here in Ohio, close to where you live, that you could go hiking on. And before you go, you'll have to decide where you want to go. Did you know that Ohio is home to one national park? If you live in the Cleveland or Akron area, you live close to the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And there are lots of trails within the park. Several of them go by waterfalls. So I encourage you, if you live in that area, maybe that's an area that you might want to consider and have an adventure in. If you live down in the Dayton area, there's the Aviation Heritage National Park. Actually, it's not a national park, it's a historic park. And maybe you'll have that. And finally, in the Chillicothe area, it boasts the Hopewell Cultural Historic Park. It has all kinds of Indian mounds and everything you can learn about the Hopewell Indians who lived here a long time before we ever got here. Many larger areas have metro parks. Cincinnati and Columbus and Cleveland, I know, all have metropolitan parks. And you can go to the metro parks, and most of them have hiking trails there as well. I have found a real gem here in Ohio for hiking parks. And I've discovered that not many people know about them, so they're kind of hidden treasures, if you will. And those are the Ohio Nature Preserves. And there's Ohio Nature Preserves all over the state. So chances are you live close to one. I put a picture here just so you can see where they are all over the state. But you can look them up at this website that I'm going to be showing on the screen. Are you ready? Let's go have an adventure. Before you start hiking, there's some equipment you will need for the trail. So I highly encourage you, you have these all at home. You don't need to go out and buy anything new, but you need to get them together and put them on. The first one is a good pair of hiking shoes. You see here I have some good, these are actually meant for hiking, but you could use tennis shoes or anything you want, and a good pair of socks. In fact, a thick pair. You don't want a thin pair because that can actually cause you to have blisters. So get a good pair of socks, shoes on, and then you want light colored pants. And what you want to do with those light colored pants, this is specifically if you're going to be in the woods on a trail that's kind of narrow, or on a grassy trail, if you're in a meadow or something, you want to tuck your pants into your socks like this. And you want long pants. There's several reasons for this. The reason you tuck your pants into your socks is because out on the trail, especially in Ohio, all over, there are little bugs called ticks. And ticks can cause Lyme disease, and so we don't want that. So you wear light colored pants, because what you'll see is if you get a tick on you, they'll start crawling up, and they're real dark in color. I'll put a picture on the screen for you. They're dark in color, and they'll show up on your pants. And you'll be able to see them and pick them off before they ever get to bite you. So you want to make sure you do that. The other reason you wear long pants are there's two kinds of plants in Ohio that can make a hike just miserable if you're wearing shorts. The first plant is called stinging nettles. And stinging nettles usually grow up on both sides of the path, and they hang over, and when you walk along and your leg hits them, the leaves turn upside down and scrape your legs and leave little needles in there that sting for 15 to 20 minutes. They can just make a hike miserable, but if you wear long pants, no problem. The other plant that we have in Ohio that can cause some pain is poison ivy. Both these plants grow all over. Both of them are on the paths, and both of them hang over and can rub you. Poison ivy may not hurt you at first, but later on, the next day or a couple hours later, you'll start itching, and that itching will last for maybe a week or two. So encourage you to wear long pants, especially if you're going on a trail in the woods that has a very narrow trail, if you know what it is, or if you're in the meadow on a grass trail. And we have both of those in the nature preserves or in your metro parks that I've mentioned. So that's what you want to do. A couple other things, pieces of equipment that you will want. You will want to wear a hat. I like a hat. Some of you has baseball caps that just have a rim on the front. I like a cap that's got a rim all the way around, so that when I put it on, it protects my ears, and it also protects the back of my neck when my head's up like this, and then the sun can't hit the back of my neck and give me a sunburn. And the other thing that I use because of the sun is make sure you take some suntan lotion like this. This is SPF 30. That ought to be good enough, but some are higher than that. You can ask an adult around you which is best for you, but make sure you put that on, slather it on your face and your nose and on your arms and any exposed skin that's going to be out there. You'll want to do that with. And then one other item you might want is bug repellent. So I don't care about particular brands. This one is Repel, and it works very well. This one you also want to spray on your shoes and your pants, because it'll also help keep the ticks off. So those are two things you need. Well, one more thing you might need. Some of you may have these, some of you may not. But you gotta pull out your junior camp shirt. This is an Otter shirt that I got several years ago. But if you're going hiking for junior camp, you might as well wear your junior camp shirt. So let's get it on, and we'll be ready for a hike. Whoa, that was fast, wasn't it? So now we're all dressed and we're ready to go, and we've got a place to go, but we still got a few things we might want to take with us. First thing we might want to take with us is a backpack. It goes on your back and it holds several things so you don't have to carry everything in your hand. The few things you might want to take is a snack, like an apple or a banana. Put it in your backpack. You want to take water. You can take just regular bottled water, but you always bring back the trash, remember? That's one of our rules that we'll talk about here in a little bit. I have a recyclable container that I use over and over and over again. It's got a tight lid on it so it's not going to leak. And then, for getting pictures of all the things you might see along your adventure, the plants, the animals, the bugs, the flowers, whatever you might want a picture of, maybe just the scenery of a creek. Why, take a camera with you. Sometimes cameras are big and bulky like this one. Maybe you're fortunate enough to have one of these. And a lot of these have cameras on them as well. This is your phone. So you can put it in here as well. So now, there's one more thing you might want to take with you. Again, check with a parent or your adult who's looking after you. Come here, Mickey. You might want to take your pet with you, especially if you got a dog. Dogs love to take hikes. They love to go for a walk, don't you? Yeah, he's ready to go. So he's ready to go. I think we're ready to go. Let's go. As you can see, I'm going to start my hike here at Slate Run. It's a metro park in the Columbus area, and I brought you here for a specific reason. Why, I'll show you that here in a minute as we get going. But as we begin our walk, I wanted to let you in on some of the rules that you need to be thinking about. First rule is that you need to have an adult with you. Don't ever go hiking out on your own. Always have to have an adult with you. And that's a very important thing. The necessary thing is to make sure that that adult is always within your eyesight. Never want to walk ahead so far that you can't see them and they can't see you. So that's very important. The other thing that you want to keep in mind as you're walking on the trail is to stay on the trails. They've been designed so that they're not dangerous to anybody. You're not going to fall or anything else. If you go off the trails, something bad could happen. So always stay on the trails. Another thing is to always pick up your trash. We have a saying in the hiking world that says, leave only footprints. Take only pictures. Leave only footprints. So you can probably hear my crunching on the gravel below me here. I'm leaving footprints. And take only pictures. If you see flowers in the woods, don't pick them. Somebody else behind you might want to see that same flower. So leave it for them. Take a picture of it, but leave it for them. So those are just some of the rules that we have as we hike out in God's wonderful world. Many of the areas that we come to have places where you can sit down and rest, and often they have a beautiful view. So I'm going to turn this around and let you see the view that we have here. You know, it's the seats behind me. And then you turn around and, oh wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? All the way down to the valley there. See the creek? Isn't that beautiful? I brought you here because this is a special area within the park. You notice it says natural play area. This is one area where children can get off the path. And if we look down here, I'm going to go down there in a little bit, but there's people playing in the pond down there, looking for salamanders and earthworms. There's another area over here where you can look up, and there's all kinds of wood. There's bark and bugs. It's a nice area too. Let's go up and explore. Oh, here's an adventure. You can probably see where the animals, I wonder what kind of animal would make holes like that in the bark. What would eat wood like that? I don't know. Anything underneath there interesting? So don't be afraid to turn over logs. You might find a salamander. So now we've moved down into the creek area, and we're gonna look at some rocks. Just look at them gently. Ooh, look at there. I don't know if you saw that wiggle, but that was a salamander. Salamanders like places that are nice and moist. But they're fast. Some kids up the way said they even saw some small fish. You might find some crayfish and other things down here in this kind of area. Well, as you can see, as I've been searching for little critters here, somebody has left their water bottle. I've asked everybody here if it belongs to them, and it does not. So one of the reasons I carry a backpack is so that I can pick up other people's trash, because that looks ugly down here when it doesn't belong to somebody and is just left here. And animals don't want it. So pick up other people's trash, even if it's not yours, and throw it away. I showed you earlier pictures of poison ivy, and here we are on the trail, and sure enough, there it is. Need to stay away from poison ivy. Hero. I thought I'd share with you some of the things I've seen when I've been out hiking, not all on the same hiking trip. Here is a mama snapping turtle laying eggs. It's fascinating to get up and actually look inside the nest as she pushes the eggs up forward and then lays a few more. How wonderful. Mother Nature at its best. And then here's a toad I found out on the trail. And a box turtle. Isn't he cute? And then I thought this was a colorful little bug. And then this was just a bug out on the picnic table. This is Dismal Falls along one of my trips, and another waterfalls on another trip. And here's some mushrooms. Those weren't very big. And then some flowers along the trail. And a purple flower, I don't even know what it is, but it looks so pretty. And finally, just knots on a tree. I hope you all have enjoyed the hike. Before you come inside though, I encourage you to make sure your shoes aren't muddy, and if so, leave them outside. Also, if you've been walking in the woods where there may have been poison ivy or ticks, I encourage you to immediately take your clothes off when you get to the bedroom and put them in the washer right away. Don't just leave them in the clothes hamper. Put them in the washing machine and wash them in hot water right away to kill anything, to take off any of the poison ivy residue that might be on your pants, and then you'll be good to go. So those are your last two things. Have a great hike.